Hello everyone, Gianni DePoce here with you for TheoTrade, and today is Tuesday, the 4th of February 2025, and we started off this week once again with a big gap down in the Sunday night futures due to what I'm calling the tariff tantrums. This is a bit of a wordplay on something that happened in markets from, I guess now it's been over a decade, the taper tantrums, which was when the Fed ended QE or were pulling back on their quantitative easing program. It resulted in market volatility. And so we're seeing something similar play out this time with the tariffs. But I think the response that we saw this Monday was even more constructive than last Monday. We saw the big gap down, and basically buyers just stepped up and bought the dip. And even here today, we are up slightly. We were down earlier. You can take a look at the intraday price action so far. Okay, we're looking to get a close near the highs of the day, which is generally considered to be bullish. You take a look at the NASDAQ here, it is outperforming on a percentage basis to the upside, and I really like when that happens. I love seeing the NASDAQ outperform to the upside as a bull. And when I'm looking at the downside, if I see the NASDAQ selling off more than the rest of the market, it usually is a bit of a cautionary signal. I talk a lot about semiconductors here, and we do have earnings today from Advanced Micro Devices, something to keep an eye on. I usually don't like to make bets on the day of earnings. Now, if I have a position that's shaping up going into earnings, I'll still take that trade. But taking a trade the day of earnings, to me, not my style. Now you have guys here like Don and Blake that do the earnings flips. That's a totally entirely different strategy, a very great strategy at that point. But I definitely keep an eye on Advanced Micro Devices, a big player in the artificial intelligence space. Even NVIDIA trying to find its bearings. But I've been talking about this, and I wrote an article on this on the free newsletter at TheoTrade.com, the sector leader bullseye, explaining how I think that software will start emerging as the new theme in the tech space. If we have reached a point in AI where the technology can be replicated from much lower prices and just improved upon at with much less investment, we may see that technology actually go out into the existing world and start improving things like existing software. So this is something that I'm watching very closely. Some names even that have been part of the Trinity trade for quite some time have been doing well. We've been increasing our exposure into the software sector, and I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So I really like what's happening over here. And you also have names like A10 Networks, kind of in the broader tech space. This is a name from the Theo Live Room, really starting to accelerate to the upside, breaking out of massive bases. So just something to keep in mind. There's a lot of hysteria at the moment, people concerned about tariffs and other market moving headlines, a lot of things happening in the government right now that investors need to keep in the back of their mind. And if you find yourself selling early or selling near the lows of the move, you know, I think that it's a way of the market telling you that it's a good idea to dial back on your position sizes. Don't stop yourself out too early of these moves. The trend is up. Stocks are still looking good. Semiconductors are trying to hammer out a bottom, I think. And there's a lot of other assets in this market that are shaping up to be pretty strong, including cryptocurrencies. Bitcoin is still consolidating near the high as of right now. Crypto czar David Sachs is doing a press conference. Yesterday, we had the announcement of the Sovereign Wealth Fund from the Trump administration. These are all things that I think are going to help modernize the U.S. Financial system, and especially on the government side, right? Because the government, when you look at Social Security, they just own treasuries. A lot of other developed countries have sovereign wealth funds. So this is a good thing. It's good for markets. And I would imagine that crypto is going to be part of this story. And the real amazing move happened in Ethereum. We had this support zone, which is something that I discussed in TheoTrade's live session today. Had this support zone drawn on Ethereum for quite some time. And, at one point in the Ethereum cash market, you actually had it turn green yesterday. And so this looks like capitulation if I ever saw it happen, and could be something to keep an eye on very closely here, because Ethereum fits into the crypto ecosystem in a much different manner than Bitcoin. I'm going to be talking about this in a lot more detail on Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. So be sure to check it out. You don't want to miss my in-depth discussion on crypto on that day. But if you take a look at some of our favorite names in the space, whether it's MicroStrategy or Coinbase, we're shaping up pretty good. Did talk about a position in Robinhood today in the live room. You know, a leading financial name kind of has its toes dipped into the crypto space with trading, low cost brokerage type business, and you know it's looking pretty strong here. It's definitely in an uptrend. It just had its highest monthly close in history a couple of days ago, so I like what's happening in Robinhood. Now let's talk about what's happening on the Magnificent Seven side of the market. Apple is trying to rebound here. You are seeing new all-time highs in Amazon. You have earnings for Amazon later this week. Google has earnings today after the market closed, so definitely something to keep an eye on, but it's hitting new all-time highs already. In this technical setup, this sideways movement that we've seen here over the last month or so, the last 6 weeks, is very bullish price action. Google looks like it wants higher, and I would be surprised if it didn't continue eventually, regardless of its response and reaction from earnings. I'd be surprised if it didn't continue higher. Take a look at Netflix, new all-time high on that front. The ones that are really continuing to struggle, Microsoft struggling to sustain a bid, and Nvidia, mentioned that already, but it could be carving out a bottom here. The fact that it dropped, 20% without hitting oversold on the RSI indicator is a very good sign. So, of course, still watching Tesla closely here. Still have that position in Tesla back from our initial buys in September. We did park the Cybertruck on this trade, and I like how this one is shaping up as well. I also like what's happening in the precious metal space. For all the things that are going on in the world right now, gold is really not attracting as many headlines as you would think, even though it's at all-time highs. So yes, it's being talked about, but it's not all the rage in the market. And I think that's a really good sign for the trend to continue. Silver starting to do better as well, testing this high from mid-September. Mid-December. I would really love to see this one taken out to the upside. A couple of positions we looked at for precious metals include Agnico Eagle Mines as well as Alamos Gold. So both of those are shaping up very nicely. You have the gold mining ETF nice with the silver mining ETF up even more. That's what I really like to see. There's been a lot of volatility in the currency world over the last couple of weeks, largely due to the tariff stuff, but the dollar is pausing here, and that probably is a tailwind for what we're seeing unfold in precious metals and crypto. If you take a look at crude oil, it continues to trade in its range-bound motion. I don't think there are a lot of opportunities in this space right now, so just something to keep in mind. You take a look at bonds. The contrarian position in bonds right now is to be a bull, and I do find myself in that camp due to a variety of factors. And so I think that if bonds rally, you'll see tech do well, you'll see stocks do well, and it's pretty much going to carry every other asset higher. Now, the question is, how does the dollar fit into the picture? Well, I think the best case scenario is to see the dollar go sideways or do nothing for a time. So that's everything that I wanted to share with you today. So that's going to take care of our conversation in our market review. But in case you haven't seen, I would encourage you to check out Don's Fast Track Trading webinar that he just did today. That recording is available. And if you want to learn more about fast track trading and take Don's 12-week mastermind program, you know where to find it, www.theotrade.com. So that's all that I have for today, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the TheoTrade chat room, and hopefully Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern for our special crypto session. Thanks for watching. Take care.